All right, welcome to today. All right, guys, are we ready? All right, so you already converted, right? Like you practiced recreating your chart, okay? Very, very important for today. Remember, no calculators today. All right, so today we're going to practice converting from rectangular coordinate system, right? Which if you guys remember, rectangular means that it's x comma y, right? X comma y. Polar is now r comma theta. R comma theta.
Could everyone see it on early lunch real fast? I'll be super quick.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right, so now what we're going to use is you guys are going to go back to like your right triangle trig information, right? So like here, we have a coordinate point. Let me highlight this. Let's see if I can do this. So we have this coordinate point x comma y, right? But that's like in our rectangular system. What we want to do is overlay the rectangular onto your polar. All right. By doing that, we create this right triangle. Okay. And we're going to go back to right triangle trig. And even like Pythagorean theorem. If you guys want to find r, right? Let's say I want to find the r value. What famous theorem could you guys use? Pythagorean theorem. So to find r, we're going to use x squared plus y squared equals your r squared. God bless you. All right. Now, to find theta, right, typically, depending on what you guys are given, you could use, like, SOHCAHTOA, right, like some old hippie, but another hippie, tripping on apples, right? But a lot of times what's going to happen is you guys are only going to be given x and y, right? So if you're given x and y, you want to focus on tangent, okay? And tangent theta, remember, is the opposite over adjacent. So that would be y divided by x. Okay, so you want to box like this one in and the r. Okay? So those are the two formulas that we're going to work on today. All right. The only thing that you have to be able to recreate is these like bow tie triangles, right? Like depending on what quadrant you're in, is you're going to create these triangles. Okay. Once you create the triangle, then it's very simple. It's just a little Pythagorean theorem. Okay. And then we have to figure out like what quadrant we're in. All right, because that will determine what your tangent is. So just as a quick refresher, right, you have ASTC here, right, quadrant 1, 2, 3, and 4, right, as just a refresher for you. All right, so to save a little time, what we're going to do is, like, I have 4 problems where a lot of the math was already done for you, but we have to figure out the rest. Okay, so let's look at this first one. 2, 2. What you're going to do is you're going to literally plot the point 2, 2, right? So like you go over 2, you go up 2, and then you create the right triangle, right? So you're like, okay, that was done. Right? So to find r, you notice that I use Pythagorean theorem, right? So here's a little Pythagorean theorem. You figure out that r is the square root of 8. Right? Okay, then you do your tangent. Tangent's going to be y divided by x, and you get 1. This is where your chart comes into play, right? So the reference angle for when tangent's 1 is pi over 4. What you're then going to do is you're going to write this into polar form. Polar is r comma theta. So what I like to do, though, is I also like to simplify your square root. So square root of 8 would become 2 radical 2, right? That would be your r. And now your theta is your pi over 4. And then you just write 2 square root of 2 pi over 4. And that's the polar point. So it has the r value, and then it has the theta. Okay, yes?
How the test would you take points off first?
If it says, like, it would depend on the directions. But for the most part, I do want you to, like, simplify it. Okay, so now let's come over to, let's say we take the point negative 2 comma 2, right? So now I have negative 2, 2, negative 2 comma 2. All right, Nicole, this is going to put this point in what quadrant? The second, right? Because you're going over negative 2, then you're coming up. Okay, so now the work is the same, right? We still have our r value of 8. Now this becomes more so your reference angle, right? Is pi over 4. I want an angle in the second quadrant. So now I still have 2 radical 2, comma, what would be the angle? 3 pi over 4. If you remember, like, your quadrant rules, right, for the angles, okay? So the biggest thing that's going to change as you guys do this, right, is you've got to make sure that your angle matches your location, okay? So are you guys okay so far? All right, let's look at, like, third quadrant, right? So now this point's negative 2 comma 2. So you see how, like, you go over and down. So now you're in third quadrant, right? So all the math is the same math, right? You still have your r. You have, this is like your reference angle, right? So now you got to think third quadrant. What would be my pi over 4 in the third quadrant? What do you think that guy's going to be? 5 pi over 4, right? You're going to go one more than the denominator. Are you guys doing okay? Okay. So you see how, like, we're kind of just going around practicing, like, that angle again. All right. Last one is our fourth quadrant, right? You have this point 2, negative 2. So you go over, down, and then you realize, okay, I'm in fourth quadrant. 2 radical 2. And then what would be the pi over 4 for the fourth? Good job, guys. 7 pi over 4. All right. So the biggest thing that I can tell you guys, just from my experience, is after you get your angle, right? I always like you to write, like, reference angle, because you've got to make sure your angle matches, like, your quadrant, okay? So the triangles are important here, all right? You do want to draw them. So what we're going to do is we're going to do, on the next page, we're only going to do 2 of them, and then you're going to have 2 for homework, okay? So, and we're going to practice the exact values. All right, you guys ready? All right, let's do our first one. Okay, so we're going to do number 1 together. Notice it says no calculator, right? It says convert this guy to polar radians, okay? So let's convert polar radians. Okay, the first thing you want to do is you want to figure out, you want to plot the point like you were plotting on your XY axis. So, like, I come here, it's 6, and then 2 radical 3. So I know I'm going to be in the first quadrant. So you're going over 6, you're going up, and then make sure that your triangle looks like this bow tie. It's a piece of the bow tie. So you're going over 6, then you go up 2 radical 3. Okay, your hypotenuse, that guy becomes your R value. Right? So now you have to do a little bit of math here. You want to be careful. So now this is just your Pythagorean theorem, right? So it's R squared equals 6 squared plus 2 radical 3 squared. Okay, and you're not going to have calculators for this, so you do have to practice, like, how do you multiply these square roots? And just take your time, right? Like 6 squared is going to give you guys 36. And then here, you could do 2 radical 3 times itself. Okay, I'll give you a second to try to figure out what that would be. You want to do, you always keep, like, I call it the innies and the outies, right? So the innies go together. Those are the numbers under the square root, and the outies go together. Yeah. Yeah, I've taught Algebra 1 for many years, and it's like innies with the innies and the outies with the outies. You multiply the innies and you multiply the outies. Yeah. So what's 2 times 2? 4. I know. Square root of 3 times itself is going to be 3, so that's going to be 4 times 3, 12. Okay, so now you're going to get R squared is equal to 48, right? All right. So now we've got to do, we do a little square root. So R is, now I do like you guys to simplify that, right? The square root of 48. Now you got to think of your perfect squares. 4, 9, 16, 16. 16 times 3. Yes, Sasha, good morning.
Hi, Miss Sean.
Hi.
I am you my best.
Oh, you're my bestie, Sasha. All right, so are you guys okay with getting the R value, right? That's just your working through your Pythagorean theorem. Okay, now the tangent, you're going to do tan theta is y divided by x, right? So whatever, or opposite over adjacent, right? So 2 radical 3 over 6, which is going to give you guys square root of 3 over 3. Okay, so you want to look at your chart and see what's your reference angle, right, for square root of 3 over 3. Pi over 6. So now look at what quadrant your triangle is in, John. What quadrant is our like point physically in? 1. So this angle actually is our angle, right? That we want. We actually want that guy. So now you just write the R first, or square root of 3, and you guys did it. Alright. So if you plotted this in polar and then took the polar graph and put it on top of your your graph there. Oh, they're doing it like they're actually like practicing. That's good. That's nice. Alright, we got some music. I don't know if you guys that are getting video like in the recording, you can hear the music. It's like nice. Alright.
Brooke's definitely dancing right now.
Yeah. Alright, let's try this second one. It's number 3. Alright. You guys ready? Okay, so try to draw the triangle. Let's see like if you guys can get the right quadrant. Right? Yeah, number 3, guys. Number 3. Yeah, we're doing all the non-calculator ones today. Okay. All right, so we're looking at number 3 as we like. Looks like this. Oh, I love this song. Look at her. You guys are all like, I love it. We're all like bopping our heads. Are they practicing for like the spring concert?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what that was.
What?
Wait.
Teacher, give us special.
Hi everybody, I'm writing on the board now. It's the whole.
What's the next step?
Oh, I'm gonna make Brooke watch this. Hi Brooke. I hope this is right.
How do I do it?
What a jack. Hi, Jack.
Oh, hi, Sasha.
Hi, Jack.
Oh,
What a Jack. Hey, wait, Sasha, you know what my dad's name is? Who's Jack? Jack. Bye, Jack. Bye, Jack.
oh,
Bye-bye. Adios. Hold on.
Wait, so is it negative?
So what you gotta do, guys, when you guys are doing
Oh, I
tangent,
love
don't put the negative in there. So it's just like, ignore the negative.
Oh, so we're just.
Square root of 3. And then look at your
I don't have much room here.
Oh, don't worry. If you were doing it this way, it's 4 times 2. No, it's just 8. Because 8 times 8. It's okay, I know your brain's fried. It's like, what am I doing?
So for Marby adding the GC value.
You're not your fault. No, English, that's 3.
Oh, that's wait.
Square root of 3 times the square root of 3 is
Oh.
Cha-ching!
Okay, so with that, wait, are you multiplying these two?
What?
You're with one.
No, so
That was
square root of 3 times square root of 3.
I missed that part of the lesson.
What?
It's technically square root of 9.
There is your actual.
And then this you gotta multiply.
Oh, okay.
It's negative 2.
Oh, no, hold on. Hold on.
Wrong.
Yeah, Bella. So Bella did a wonderful job, right? The reference angle, Bella, the reference angle is pi over 3. Right? Now, where is your triangle?
Oh. Wait, I have something different on my paper.
So maybe you plotted this wrong? Oh, do you actually have 2
I have
pi?
something different on my paper.
2 pi over 3? Yeah. Okay. So for homework, you are going to do number 1 and number 3. No calculators, okay? You guys